Welcome to part 10 of my build of the quarter scale Taylorcraft Auster 5A based on the Jerry Bates Auster J1 Autocrat plans. This video is a slideshow with a voiceover of some pictures I took while building it. Day 64. I cut out two fastening plates from 2mm aluminium and then made slots in the struts to accept them. Then I cut the struts to approximate length according to the plans and inserted the ball links in their ends. I've not glued anything yet because I have to fit the wings to the fuselage and cut the struts to the correct length. Day 65. I washed the wings with denatured alcohol, or red spirit as we know it here, and then sprayed some primer on one surface of the wings, ailerons and flaps. For some reason I did not take any pictures of this, but I can do that tomorrow when I spray the other surface. I made two new ribs for the engine cowling. I used rib C3 as a template and made the new ones a little narrower and lower. Then I arranged the ribs on the nose of the model. Day 66. I finished priming the other surfaces of the wings, and this time I remembered to take a photograph. I carried on making the engine cowling. I put the engine on and made a new nose ring for it. The one that came with the short kit was too small. Then I arranged the ribs of the cowling using 6mm square balsa longerons and short pieces of balsa. I made a space of 40mm from the foremost rib to the nose ring. To stiffen the cowling, I started gluing 2mm balsa to it. In the end, I will simulate panels and hatches using 0.8mm plywood. Day 67. I had a nice time this morning gluing 40mm of balsa to the front of the engine cowling. I had to cut from the middle of each layer so that it would not touch the engine. Now this will wait till tomorrow when I can start forming this block and adding the rest of the 2mm balsa skin. In the meantime, I must come up with some way of fastening the cowling to the front of the model. Day 68. Finished closing the cowling and formed the front part of it, mostly. This is just about finished, but I might do some more forming if I feel like it. Day 69. The main tools to use when final sanding a wing like this are your fingers to find the trouble spots, a sealing iron to fasten down edges that are loose, 400 grit sandpaper to make the primer smooth, and a cup or two of coffee to refresh the sole. I fastened the engine completely by adding blind nuts to the engine bearers. I was going to start on the interior of the cabin by printing out and cutting the front seat back from plywood. For some reason this came out 10 to 15mm too short. I will have to try again. Day 70. I was going to spray primer on the fuselage and started on the inside of the cockpit. Then I discovered that I did not have enough of the primer I like to use. I like the Ace Premier primer, which is rather dark grey, and Colormatic 1K Grunder, which is sort of light grey. These cans ran out, so I tried the Belton Basic Universal Grund primer I had bought a few weeks ago when the other two were not available. Can anyone tell me why shops stop selling something you really like and substitute it for some crap that does not work? To make a short story a lot shorter, this primer is horrible. It's very thin and ran at the slightest provocation. As much as I like the other two, this one I absolutely hate. I will not use it again. Then I turned to the pilot's seat. I printed it out to the correct measurements and sawed it out of 1.5mm plywood. Then I used bamboo barbecue skewers to make up the framework for the seat. Note that there is no seat on the right side because this plane was used as an ambulance and the stretcher for the patient was placed there. There was a seat behind the pilot for a doctor or a carer who saw to it that the patient survived the flight.